corner, inside the 5-yard line, or he's putting it in the end zone for a touchback.
Right.
And multiple times with the change in rule, we have people that are fair catching that ball and putting it on the 25-yard line, which is the equivalent of kicking it in the end zone. So from a field position standpoint, he's done awesome. And then we hadn't punted a lot in the last few weeks, but when we were punting early in the season, he was booming it. And so you're winning with defense and field position. And so he's a weapon without a doubt.
I noticed the game on last week, he kicked a 47-yard field goal in the fourth quarter with just a few minutes left. I mean, that's obviously a game you had in hand. Is that one of those moments that you want to just kind of test and see and kind of give him confidence moving forward that he can hit a field goal from that distance?
For sure. We had our backups in at that point. We'd put our backups in before halftime. And we got stalled out with our backups, and we wanted to give him an opportunity to see what kind of, basically to practice in a live situation, see how you can do. And he got a hold of it. It was a little bit low, but still put it through the pipes.
You close out, like you just mentioned a minute ago, you close out against two teams that are probably going to be playoff teams out of your district in Birdville and Grapevine. After kind of an up and down district schedule that y'all have had as far as like quality of teams you're playing, I know you don't set your schedule, but is it nice as a coach? Do you like that, to be able to close the season playing what should be two fairly competitive games before you hit the postseason?
I love it. I think it worked out really well in our favor. We opened with Denton, which was a rivalry game, and they played us tough for almost a half, and then we kind of pulled away, and then we had a blowout, and then we had a tough battle against Colleyville, and then some down. And so it's really good to me to be able to finish it off with some competitive games and making sure we're starting to peak as we head into playoff time.
Now, when you play Grapevine, have you faced them since you left there?
No. We scrimmaged them. I think my first year I was at Ryan.
Okay.
And then,
is there any sentimental thing there? Do you know people there still?
I do. Oh yeah. I know a lot of people because my oldest son, Ian, is a senior. And so all those seniors, they played together growing up from the time they were, whatever years old. And my dad, who was a high school coach, coached a lot of those kids in youth football. And so, yeah, we're close to still with a lot of those people and some of those kids. And so, but I mean, as far as the sentimental part, no, we're going to go try and beat the lips off of them.
Right.
Good stuff.
Well, you,
Coach,
you ready for Beast? If you would, I would like if you would come back and help pick some games in a minute, if you don't mind sticking around.
Sure.
But, yeah.
Well, Coach, if you'll come back, we've got a gift for you and a couple hats. But if you want to take a little break, we will bring you back on to do the picks here in just a moment. Folks,
you can go hang out in our fancy green room.
Yeah, Coach Dave Henigan, everybody. Denton Ryan Raiders head coach.
Yay.
Good stuff. Boedeker. All right. Been always good having a live in studio coach. And we were talking a little bit about it before the show started, Boedeker, about the studio. And I was kind of teasing Coach Henigan. Said, does this have a feel like Channel 8 or Fox, going on the our buddy Greg Tepper's show? And we do want to thank Paradise General Contracting. They built this set for us. And great. We try to do things in the community, and they're local right here in the Denton community. Paradise General Contracting. Boedeker, any update on the World Series? We're both big baseball fans, and we should have had it on back here, but Facebook probably would have shut our show down if we were streaming the World Series behind us.
It looks like
I don't think they care about the Dallas Mavericks too much.
It is 2-1 Dodgers now in the bottom of the fourth. So
2-1.
I don't really have a rooting interest in this.
It's a good time. October baseball
I would like
is always
a good
good,
series,
right?
So I guess I'm going for the Dodgers to tie it up tonight.
October baseball is always a lot of fun. So I was listening to the pregame ahead. They felt like the Red Sox might take a 2-0 lead going back to L.A., so we'll see how that pans out.
Boston's really good.
Later tonight. So, hey, Newspaper Steve, I think he gave you a little kudos there, or maybe this was for Coach Henigan. He said, good job. You think that's for Henigan or for Boedeker?
Probably Henigan.
Probably for me. What do you think? Appreciate that, Newspaper
maybe.
Steve. All right. Hey, a segment all the kids and all the parents and all the grandparents really like is Boedeker's Beast. You ready for this?
Yeah, why don't you take my ugly mug off camera and put these kids up?
Yeah, there you go. Hey, first up, Tito Bice, running back, Argyle.
Yeah, this kid's been performing well all year, and this is the first time he's been on here, but he had a big game against Paris. And like I said, Paris was a really good team, and he had 32 carries, 155 yards, 2 touchdowns, a real workman-like effort from Bice, and a big win over Paris. Like I said, they're basically right on the brink of being a top 10 team, and it was their 30th straight win at home. So big performance by Bice and big win for Argyle.
Hey, next up, we were talking about the defensive play earlier of Denton Geyer, and let's bring him up. A combination of the cornerbacks, they didn't show up on the stat sheet, but shutdown corner performance.
I decided to switch things up a bit this week.
Deuce Harmon and Jaden Fugit.
Yeah. These are both sophomores, and if you see them, they don't look like sophomores. I think Fugit's a little bit taller than Harmon. He's probably over 6 foot, but Harmon, for those that don't know, his brother is a pretty good basketball player, as in U.S. national team. And,
Davion Harmon, Oklahoma commit.
So it's obviously an athletic family, and these two were just. I talked to Coach Walsh, and he said they were the keys to that win over Keller and really shutting down what's a really potent offense. I think they scored 50-something points against Carroll, and Guy held in the 17. He said that they just basically took away the outside, and didn't have many stats.
I've seen Deuce since he was in about the 5th grade. We've been in the community for a long time, and he's had a little growth spurt. What would be interesting is to have in practice, and I doubt they'll do it, but here's a challenge. I'm going on air with this challenge is to have Davion suit up as a receiver, have younger brother Deuce cover him,
receiver,
and that would be fun to watch.
Yeah.
I kind of kid his parents a little bit. I say the deuce is loose. We have a little fun with that one.
Gee, where did you ever come up with that one?
Hey, enough out of you, Boedeker.
Yeah, Davion was a varsity receiver as a freshman and then decided to give up football, which was probably a wise choice considering he's one of the best basketball players in the country. But
hats off to the cornerbacks, tandem there.
For them, and they're both sophomores. So, they're guys are set there for a few years.
And let's bring up next up, one too many, Blake Ramsey, safety at Argyle.
Yeah, we talked about Argyle's defense in that game, forcing 7 turnovers against Paris, and he had one of them, an interception. But he also had 14 tackles and 3 tackles for loss. Again, 7 turnovers when you win by 8 points. I think you can safely say the defense won that game, and he was a big part of it. So, big ups to him.
Right there. Let's bring up, here's a kid. Man, let me see if I can bring him up.
I think you know this kid, right?
Yeah, actually, we had his dad on the show last year, Trent Touchstone. Trent, let me get the right name up here. You know what the most beautiful sound in any language is, Boedeker? Most beautiful sound in any language is a person's own name, so we got to get the name right.
Oh, yeah, you do have to get names right.
Let's get that right. Reed Touchstone. There it is. Wide receiver. Yeah, his dad, actually a good football pedigree, played linebacker at the University of North Texas some years ago.
Oh, there you go.
And coached in the Flower Mound area, some of the youth kids. And Reed, man, if they did fantasy football for high school, he had a big fantasy game, no doubt.
Yeah. Again, that was a huge kind of program-defining win for Flower Mound. He was a big part of it. 7 catches, 128 yards, and 3 touchdowns, including a game winner with 6:14 left to give them a 38-35 win over Hebron and really put Flower Mound in the driver's seat for a district championship, which is pretty unexpected. So big night for Touchstone. And a cool name.
Yeah, I like that. Hey, welcome Margie Campbell. She seems to tune in about each and every week. Is that a friend of yours, Boedeker?
Nope. Can't say that it is. I'm sure she's a nice lady, but I don't know her.
Amanda Roberson, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate that. And this bring up another huge performance. Let me get the name up here.
This guy,
pretty amazing. Let me see if I can bring it up right here.
I'll be surprised if he's still standing at the end of the season. I mean,
Andre Washington.
He had a season like this last year, but he's been a workhorse for them offensively. This game, it was an upset win over Midland Christian on the road, and Midland Christian was undefeated. Liberty went in and beat them on the road in Midland after a pretty long road trip. 6 hours, 6.5 hours.
Hands for Liberty Christian. They're having a little bit of a surprise season. A win like that on the road.
New coach,
big for their program.
But yeah, this kid, 39. Listen to this: 39 carries, 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he added 5 catches for 92 yards and another touchdown. So, 30-something total yards. Now through 6.5 games, he has 1,373 total yards and 16 touchdowns through 6.5 games. I mean, that's incredible. So the guy's a workhorse, and he's been on this a few times, and there's a reason why. He's a really good running back.
Hey, got a few folks chiming in here. Like I mentioned, they love the Boedeker B segment. Trent Touchtone, I think, is tuning in. Jags Rock. Laquita Harmon says, hey, we probably won't get Debbie on to do that little challenge that I threw out there. Welcome, Laquita, to the show. Rocky Sanders. Good stuff. Hey, and this is what it's all about right here. Trent Touchtone chimes in, says, proud dad right here. I think he's tuning in from, I think, the Washington, D.C. area. And that's the neat thing about the show. Through technology, people can tune in really all over the world, So there we go. Hey, your picks, you've been pretty good on the picks. We want to try to get Coach Henigan back on here and wrap up with a couple picks for this upcoming week.
Let's do it.
All right. Just welcome Coach Henigan back. We'll get it reset here. And folks, if you're tuning in late or watching the replay, make sure you join us Saturday, November 3rd at Verse Grill and Tavern. We'll be there live. Always a lot of fun. We'll be doing brunch. You got to eat. So come watch a little college football.
I will say this.
Come join the show. Yes, sir.
Shoal Creek and Verfs are both really good places, but I think Verfs wins on the brunch. Verfs brunch is – Shoal Creek's brunch is really good too. I mean, we had it a few weeks ago, but Verfs brunch is really, really good. So I suggest coming out and eating some –
Hey, while we have Coach Henigan here, I've got up on the screen, Coach, hashtag Still Ryan, hashtag Home of Champions. You're pretty active on social media, at least Twitter, and you do a lot of neat stuff there. I know the kids are all pretty active on Twitter too, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. It's hard to follow.
Yeah.
My own kids don't. They're like
they've
on
got you blocked,
Twitter,
probably, right? They probably have you blocked.
Don't really post on Twitter.
They're all more in
they're
like
all on
Snapchat.
Snapchat.
Stuff,
It's more of a Snapchat. Twitter, I think, is all of a sudden for the
old people. Yeah, it is.
Isn't it
I think it used to be
goes?
there for a while. It was like all the kids quit Facebook and went to Twitter, and now it's all old people on Twitter.
Well, I have to ask you, as a coaching staff and as a dad, do you have a Snapchat to follow?
I do.
Your kids?
I do. Not to follow, but yeah, I mean,
See
that
what's
seems
going
to
on
be
out
one of
there?
the only ways they communicate.
Yeah.
See, I don't know how. I don't even know how to do Snapchat. I have it, but
yeah, I never got into that. I don't want people putting funky butterflies around my head.
I do. My daughter likes to me to get it out and see all the different stuff she can put on her face. But other than that, that's pretty much the only reason I use it. But.
All right. Well, hey, let's get into some picks. We always like having a coach on here. I know you don't follow a lot of these other teams unless they're in your district, but
you're not gonna make me pick amongst my friends. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, that's what we're doing. Pretty much just people just pick for the people they like.
And you probably used to like us too, right, Coach? Maybe.
Yes.
Boedeker was 7-2 last week.
He's like rolling his eyes, like
46-13. Yeah. So he does a pretty good job. Hey, first up, Northwest Eaton at Denton Guyer. Guyer's a 16-point favorite.
Yeah. I saw Eaton last week actually against Keller Central, who is struggling this year. But Eaton does have a couple of good running backs. One in particular, Titus Swin, is a really good player. And they have another running back too that's pretty good. So they've beaten some really good teams this year. They beat South Grand Prairie